I recently did a rewatch of the Ridonculous Race, and when watching it, I was thinking a lot to myself about how cool it would be to see a lot of these characters come back, but in the capacity of an actual total drama season rather than something like The Amazing Race. So that got me thinking about who from Ridonculous Race I would even want to see come back if this was ever a possibility, and then that led me to a way more interesting idea. Instead of just having to pick anybody I could, what if I had to choose one person from every pair? So there may be some snubs in this potential cast of 18, but at the same time, this is also my video and I do make my own rules, so there might be some exceptions to this rule that I've set for myself right off the bat. Now, I'm just going to go in order in which they were all eliminated in, so first we're going to start with Leonard and Tammy. Now, fun fact, I've already got a video on my channel where Leonard does return, so he kinda has my pick again to return. I believe in Blocka2 Island's cast receiving much better treatment, and we just don't really know enough about Tammy, so Leonard for me is an easy shoo-in for another total drama season. When it comes to the tennis rivals, Pete and Jerry, they're both extremely similar, so this is a little tough. I find them both hilarious though, as I love their elderly banter, but if I had to choose one over the other, I'd probably choose Jerry, as he seemed to have a little more of a temper, and I think he had the slight edge on Pete when it came to his jokes. So with that being said, Jerry is also on the cast. And again with this next pair, Elodie and Mary, there really isn't a whole lot that differentiates them from each other, but I think I'd probably just go with Elodie here. I've always had a little bit of a weird soft spot for her, but another easy excuse is that she's voiced by a corny voice actress, so yeah, she's gonna be a part of this cast. Now this next pair I actually forgot was a super fun team. Lori and Miles, they were a really good parody of those kinds of just extremely obsessed vegan environmentalist types, so at first this was kind of a toss-up to me, but I actually think the choice is quite obvious, at least to me. It's gotta be Lori. She's definitely the more unhinged one of this pairing, as seen when she had to eat meat, and then seemingly she kinda liked eating it, which is the right choice, but I think the environment literally and figuratively of total drama would pretty much break her even further than just that eating challenge in Iceland alone, so for all of that, Lori is definitely on this season. In between Tom and Jen, the fashion bloggers, I think both would be really good additions to a total drama season. I find them both really funny and entertaining as they bounce off of each other super well. And while I am supposed to make a decision on just one of them, I think it would be a lot better if they were both on a total drama season together. I mean, if their friendship almost fell apart after only a couple episodes on Ridonculous Race, imagine what could happen on a full total drama season. So, for the first time, I'm breaking my own rules and I'm adding both Tom and Jen to this cast. On to the mom and daughter team, Kelly and Taylor. For me, while I do enjoy both of them, the pick here has to be Taylor. I just think it'd be cool to see all the things Taylor would get up to without one of her parents there to annoy her all the time, even if that's obviously not their intention. But still, Taylor is going to be on her own for once as she competes on this next total drama season. And next, Jay and Mickey. I'm just going to cut to the chase. This is the first team that I'm just going to erase altogether. We've seen some people like them with milder cases like Cameron or Dave who had overcome a lot of weird stuff with themselves, and with Jay and Mickey being even more extreme cases than them, I just don't really see the point really in kind of doing all of that all over again. And I did enjoy them on Ridonculous Race, I'm not saying I didn't, but I feel like that experience was enough for them and we don't really need to see their journey continue on for even longer, as it'd be the same thing probably or even worse. So no Jay or Mickey on this cast. And when it comes to Lorenzo and Chet, I also have similar feelings towards them. There's not really a whole lot that separates the two of them, and they pretty much completed their whole arc together by finally realizing that they actually like each other and that they're cool with being stepbrothers, but I could see the appeal of them now having to be on their own. And plus, everyone knows that reality TV casts always have one or two people who are set out to be complete losers, but still though, I'm just gonna break another rule because I can, and neither Lorenzo or Chet will be featured on this upcoming fictional season of mine. So that's two pairs back to back, not at all on this. Now next up is the rockers, Rock and Spud. I actually did go back and forth quite a few times on this one, and I do think I have an answer despite not being 100% sure on this. Originally, I was thinking Spud just because he seems to be a little more interesting, there's a little more to his character, even if his character is really just being super dumb. But then I started thinking about Rock because he didn't necessarily get to spread his wings because Spud kind of weighed him down a lot. But I'm ultimately going to choose Spud just because I find him to be a lot funnier. So my final decision here is that Spud is going to be on the cast and Rock can stay at home just rocking it out as usual. Now with the father and son team, Dwayne and Jr., I feel like the pick here is kind of obvious to me. Again, I love both of them, but again, I think it'd be cool to see what kind of stuff Jr. would get up to without any parental observation, kind of like Taylor, so I'm going to pick Jr. Now, I'm not trying to make this look like an adventure camp cast with the extreme variety in ages and stuff, but with who I have to choose, I think Jr. would be a really fun choice to see on his own on Total Drama. So, Jr. is also on the cast. And now it's Owen and Noah. I mean, we've already seen a lot of these guys. Owen more than Noah, but we've pretty much seen everything of them we've needed to see. Owen's done just about everything on Total Drama, and he has really nothing else much to give. And after Ridonculous Race, I don't really think there is much of a need to see Noah either. He can stay home, have fun with Emma, but for me, I'm breaking another rule and saying that Owen and Noah both will not be on this season. It's time to let the new people shine, you know what I mean? And when it comes to the Goths, Ennui and Crimson, I was actually thinking really hard about who I would end up putting on the cast because they're both really good, and I do think it'd be kind of interesting to see what one of them would be like without the other. However, I love them both too much to make that kind of awful decision, so I'm breaking another rule. Ennui and Crimson are both on the cast. But I do think I'd probably pick Crimson if I was absolutely forced to make a decision, but I'm not forcing myself to make that kind of decision. Crimson and Ennui are both on. The daters, or the haters, whatever you want to call them, are next, and I also love both of them a lot, but for this team, I knew I had to actually make a decision here. They went through an entire relationship arc during Ridonculous Race, so I don't think it'd make a lot of sense for them to really both be on the season together. Between the two of them, I'm definitely picking Stephanie. She's just a lot more competitive and unhinged than Ryan, who is still really good himself, but Stephanie just has no filter when she gets frustrated and competitive, so I think she's a perfect fit for Total Drama, so she is definitely on the cast. Devin and Carrie are a team I thought a lot about when trying to think of who would make it onto this cast, and now before I get to that, I did think of the possibility of also including both of them on this season as they only just got together and confessed their feelings in the last episode that they were on Ridonculous Race, so we've barely seen them as an actual couple or anything, and it would be kind of cool to see that on a Total Drama season, but at the same time, what else is there really there for us to see with them? Just be lovey-dovey all the time before some BS happens with like an elimination or something? I think it'd be best to just have one on the season over the other, and that still was kind of a tough decision for me. And on one hand, I would have loved to use a similar excuse that I used earlier and just have Carrie on because of Bridget's voice actress. And plus, Carrie does have a lot of loose friendships and relationships with other people in the cast. But on the other hand, Devin can just be kind of a psycho. So to just add to the already kind of crazy nature of this whole cast, I'm gonna add Devin just to make things a little bit crazier. Now, maybe this is surprising for some people, maybe it's not, I don't really know. But the decision between Kitty and Emma was actually super easy for me. Emma, you can stay at home with Noah and focus on your lawyer stuff. Kitty is a definite lock for someone who should come back for another Total Drama season. She's a lot more adventurous, a lot more funny, and I also loved the episode in Las Vegas where it's basically confirmed that Kitty is just an e-girl. So I just think that she has a lot more fun qualities for an individual Total Drama character than Emma, and with the whole Emma and Noah thing, we really don't need to see her again. So for all that, I'm definitely putting Kitty on this cast. Jose and Jacques. Now, this is a really good one. Now personally, if once again I was really forced to choose, I would pick Jose. She's just so much more cutthroat and willing to do literally anything to win, which makes her so interesting. But Jacques is no slouch either, because what makes Jacques so interesting is his willingness to do anything to win just like Jose, but he tries to be a voice of reason as well to keep things from going too far over the line, and that's ultimately what makes their pairing so good. Plus, there was that moment in the penultimate episode of Ridonculous Race where they almost had a complete falling out, and I feel like the underlying issues between them never really got fully solved by the time they actually got eliminated, so I think it'd be best if they were both put on this cast. So that's exactly what I'm doing, breaking it under the rule, but I think it's worth it this time. And with Sanders and MacArthur, one of the winners of the Ridonculous Race, I'm going to choose MacArthur to be on the cast. I choose MacArthur just because she's actually already shown up once in the Total Drama reboot, and I think it'd be pretty cool for her to be just on a whole season as a contestant, and I mean that's kind of it. There's really not much else to it, so yeah, MacArthur is on the cast. And finally, the last pairing, it's time to decide between Brody and Jeff. And I mean, this is clearly a no-brainer, right? Jeff is the veteran here that's been on the show before a couple times, while Brody is a new character that'd be really cool to see again. I really like Brody, and I mean, seeing Jeff come back again would be pretty cool, but I don't know, I figured there's not really much need and I don't really know what else Jeff could do. So it'd be cool to see what Brody could do without Jeff. And plus, Brody would have MacArthur with him on the supposed cast, so that kind of works out all in the end. So yeah, Brody is on the cast. And there we have it. The cast of 18 for this potential fictional Total Drama season is now complete. Leonard, Jerry, Elodie, Lori, Tom, Jen, Taylor, Spud, Junior, Ennui, Crimson, Stephanie, Devin, Kitty, Jose, Jacques, MacArthur, and Brody. And look at that, a complete gender balance as well. 9 women, 9 men, and I wasn't even trying to do that either, but since it did, I think I picked out the perfect cast for this. So maybe someday I'll follow this up with a video about what would happen with this fictional cast and play out just a whole season. I've done that kind of thing before a couple times on this channel, so maybe I'll just have to do it again. But Ridonculous Race has a great cast, and it'd be great to see some of these guys come back again, and I think they still have a lot to offer, especially in a legit season and not just some spin-off. Let me know down below what you think of my cast and what your cast would be, what it would look like, and what your changes might be. And let me know down below what else you'd like to see me talk about on this channel. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, and yeah, thank you for watching.